And that's how you can tell when somebody is really passionate or somebody is just there just to be there. You can tell Clyde was hungry at that conference. He wanted to know. It was exciting him just as much as it was exciting me. So I remember getting that email from y'all, and I remember knowing exactly who y'all were from that conference. And from that point forward, I always talked about y'all. I'm like, listen, I had these people come from Texas and they changed their lives. Like, they went and did exactly what I said, and it changed their lives. So for me and Clyde, I feel you with your pain with, like, you just be in the room and people just don't like you. For some reason, you done got on their nerves, right? For some reason. That's me, right? But the thing is that in my life, because I have made so many sacrifices and I do not make excuses. And so for me, there are no excuses. You cannot be one of those people that come to me and be like, oh, I couldn't get it done because my dog died. Okay, rest in peace to your dog. We love your dog. But now we still got to get to work because life goes on, right?
Set up just a podcast.
What's up, and welcome to the Unscripted Podcast with Clyde and Tonya.
What's up?
Listen, we want to first of all thank you for all the new followers. Thank y'all for rocking out with us, rolling with us. We thank you for your messages and your inboxes and your DMs on nonprofit as well as government contracting as well as lawyer. We're so excited, man. Make sure you reach out to our office, 936-653-4526, and we will set up a consultation with you, and we'll be able to go through some things and give you a plan for you to be able to do what you do. Listen, today we're so excited, husband. Yeah, you excited?
I am. You know, we come a long ways. We've done a lot. Like my wife said, shout out to everyone. Like, subscribe, and share. You know, before we get into what we talk about, I want to say also I'm glad that people have been reaching out and I'm trying to get information on those different things that they've been doing. It's been cool. Yeah. But I'm excited because we've been in business now for I think since 2020 theoretically. Moving hard since 2021. But 2021, I think 2021, 2022, we started something called the Lions Den. And the Lions Den was something that, you know, now I'm excited to say it's a nonprofit organization. My wife is the CEO of it. I don't know what I am yet. We're going to figure that one
We
way.
together.
And when we started the Lions Den, the whole concept was, I never forget, I read the book, Instinct by T.D. Jakes. And that book, if you haven't read that book, Instinct by T.D. Jakes, you got to read it. I know T.D. Jakes is a pastor, but he's an entrepreneur. He's an amazing entrepreneur. So don't look over the fact that he's an entrepreneur and you don't want to listen to him because he's a pastor. But he's an amazing pastor. But he wrote a book called Instinct. I'll never forget reading that book. It did something to me because it talked about how you can be in the zoo and you can live in the zoo and you think you got it all together, but you know for a fact in you don't belong in that zoo. And it kind of radiated with me because I worked on a Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 for over 20 years. And I always felt like I didn't belong here. Mm-hmm. Like a lion. No, he could be a cub that's been 3 generations in the zoo and still something in him lets him know he don't belong here. Yeah. It's because you got the instinct on the inside of you telling you that you're bigger than this. Yes. But one thing about it, he continued in that book and talked about when he left, if you leave the zoo and they do drop you off in the jungle, if you take a zoo mentality to the jungle, you'll die. If you're out there by yourself, you think you can do it alone, you think you don't need anybody, you will die. And the only way you're going to survive in the zoo, he talked about how they had a guide, and the guide that was taking around knew the jungle. He knew where everything was. If you're a lion, you got to find a tribe that know the jungle, a pride, a group of lions that know where the hunting places, that know where the good, resting places are at. That's how you survive. And when we got on these streets, one thing about me, I was very prideful. I didn't want to listen to a lot of people. And my wife brought to me, one thing about my wife, she's always been a scout. She's always scouted out good resources, good people who, whether it was in church, in R.E. Vernon, whether it was, other people in other places, or specifically this young lady who we're bringing on the podcast today, you always scouted them out, brought them to me. I was leery.
Every time. I always leery. I'm like, I ain't finna bring nobody to you that I ain't just watched and paid attention to.
I just didn't trust my fate in the hand of other people because already I was doing something I wasn't comfortable with. Right. And one thing about me, I always wanted the glory that I figured out on my own. Yeah. That I didn't need no help.
But when you found out you couldn't.
Man.
Yeah. So I would say this, and the reason why I've learned, in the last couple of years, so I started doing business 15 when I wrote my first book. Didn't realize I started my business, but I knew that I could only go so far.
Yeah.
And so this particular person that we're bringing on today, y'all, like, I'm so excited. We got the same birthday month, everything together. Didn't even know that. But I started watching her around 2020 during the pandemic, 2021. And she was on this live with this lady. And I kept saying I wanted to learn more about government contract because I heard someone say it. And so some just told me to watch this young lady. And I'm watching her on the live. And man, it was something about her aura. It was something about just what she was saying. I'm like, okay, I need to check her out and just kind of see what is this, what's she talking about? Government contract. Because I always had an unction in me. It was something bigger out here. Because I told him that I say for 14 days, God told me to write affirmations to speak over our money, that money will chase after us to bring resources to our community, our city, and our children, and our church. I'm speaking these things, but I'm not really knowing what is next, but I knew it was something else. So I started watching her. I watched her on that one show. From there, baby, I ain't gonna say no stalker. I don't know what you want to call it, but I became very nosy, right? So I started following her on TikTok, on Instagram, on all these places.
Talking about the money bag lady.
The money bag lady, yes. I was like, the money bag, and I would tell people, yeah, I've been watching this girl called the money bag. And they thought it was a rapper. I'm like, no. This is a whole nother chick. So watching her, after 2 years of watching her, she had a GovCon coming up. Our business had just started moving. We just started making a little money, and it was like, hey, let's invest in ourselves. So I sat down and talked to my husband, and I had him invest in one of her master classes.
Sat down and made me.
Yeah, I made him. I was like, you're going to sign up for this master class with Coach Brooks. And when you sign up for this, I want you to sign up and be a part of this. So long story short, y'all, I am excited to say after 2 years of watching her, we went to Washington for one class. We go to Washington and we get in this class. My husband creates a whole new class for himself during the thing, and she kept saying at the GovCon, all right, Clyde, I know you got questions.
Do you remember
that?
Let's get on the screen.
Okay,
Yes.
Let me introduce her. Let me introduce to some, to others. Y'all heard me talk on this podcast 100 times. I'm not telling y'all who my coach is. Well, she ripped me. She did. I took it. I said, okay. She said, no, Tonya, you wrong. You can't just keep hiding me away from everybody. And so I'm excited and I am honored to introduce to some and to others and those that have been hearing me, especially my Lions Den community, Coach Latasha Brooks. Can y'all give it up for Coach? Welcome, Coach Brooks.
What's up?
I am so excited to be here. I have not did a podcast interview in over a year. So y'all are helping me brush these shoulders off and get back in the game. But I am so excited to be here. And of course, I was going to tell y'all yes. There's no way I could have told y'all no. So y'all tricked me. You got me. I'm here.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
I want you to tell them a little bit about you, where you're from, and just tell them a little bit about you, because we've been talking about you on our podcast forever and a day. But I want you to kind of introduce yourself to our community, man, to our Lions Den, to Unscripted Podcast. Kind of introduce yourself to them.
All right, guys. So I am the one and only Coach Brooks. I have been in business. I just celebrated 10 years on paper. I actually started when I was 12 years old. My older sister pushed me into the business, didn't know anything about business. But of course, they always tell you other people can see your strengths before you can see your strengths. And so although I registered my first business 10 years ago, I have been in business with my family since 12 years old, which carries a lot of weight. Now that I'm, meeting more people and talking to more people, I'm like, okay, I got a skill set that other people don't have. I got a drive that people don't understand. You can't touch it, and I have these critical thinking skills that I put to use every single day to help change lives. And so I am a business strategist. They call me the $1 Million Architect. I dabbled into government contracting over 10 years ago, didn't know what it was. Just like you, I got into it, did 5 years of it. Didn't have a clue what I was doing, y'all. It wasn't until I went to a matchmaking event and I did not even know what matchmaking was. And we're in this group session, and we every time we meet with a person, we all come back together, and everybody was celebrating wins except me. So everybody's like, "Oh, I just got this contract. I just got this contract," and I'm like, "Okay, well, how everybody else getting the contract, and I'm the only one coming back mad, sad, and don't know what's going on." I got with my last person that I got to meet with, and she could see the defeat on my face, and she did not look like me. Okay.
Wow.
And so she said, "Well, what have you been doing?" Right. And I didn't even want to talk then. Y'all know, we show our expressions on our face. And I'm just like, here, like, can we get this over with? I don't really want to be here no more. And so she started asking me these questions, and I was telling this lady what I was doing. And she said, "Do you mind sharing your screen?" We were on Zoom. And she said, "Do you mind sharing your screen?" And I shared my screen, and she said, "Type in the people you're working with." And their domain came up. And she looked at their signature, and she knew then I had been working with the government that entire time and did not know it. She
Wow.
said, "Listen here." She said, you got to get more confident in yourself." She said, "You got past performance." She said, "The only thing you don't have, which you should have, is a capability statement." She was like, "In this point forward, I want you to talk different. I want you to walk different. I want you to have confidence in yourself. And I want you to go out there and do everything you've been doing, but now do it because you got a little bit more knowledge behind it." And that changed my life. And from that
Wow.
point forward, not only was I learning government contracting, I was trying to bring everybody along with me, because I'm one of those people that I'm like, "Hey, if I'm doing it, you can do it too. Come on, let's do it together. We'll figure it out together." That's a good thing and a bad thing. Okay. However, I became a government contractor, and I have not looked back since. And not only has it changed my life, but it has changed everybody's life around me. So I love it here.
Well, baby, I know it changed our life.
Yeah.
We did a podcast, and we talked about winning our very first prime contract, and we are excited because we did that with you. You and Clyde working together on this, baby. Y'all so much alike. It's crazy, and I love it because both of y'all are go getters. And just to see now, because, and I guess this podcast is really about the importance of standing on other people's shoulders, right? The importance of having a mentor, a coach. You are now our business developer, and we're excited to have you a part of the HES team and being a part of
Yes.
that, and the importance of having that. And I think that that part has really changed our lives. So we are a replica. Is that right?
Yeah.
We are.
We
Is that the right word?
we are mentees.
Yeah.
We are a I guess a protege of what she's
Of
been through.
what you've
Yes.
done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I gotta ask a question because I'm curious. So, because I've always been known as a guy that go in a room and I agitate people. I don't try to.
Hmm.
I don't try to. I'm very inquisitive. I'm very curious. I'm type of guy. If I paid, I think we paid quite a bit of money to be there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get
It was the
everything.
best investment,
Yeah, great
whatever.
investment. Great investment.
Yeah.
But when we were there, what was your first impression of the Hardens, or do you even remember the Hardens at the GovCon when we went?
I remember the Hardens. Okay. I remember, and this is so crazy because my memory is so bad now. I had another baby, y'all. And so there's a lot of things I don't remember. But the one thing I do remember is the Hardens. And let me tell you why. Because after GovCon, so everybody in the GovCon space knows GovCon never stops, right? Y'all
Mhm.
know this now, is that this thing never
Yes.
stops. This is a year-round thing, right? And so after GovCon, I'm back to work, right? I done did my thing. I done educated. I done trained. I done helped people. Now it's back to grind time, right? And during the grind time, I remember getting an email from y'all. And I remember that email saying, "We just won something," or "We just got our first deal," or "We just did something."
Yeah.
And
On
immediately
the
I knew
stage.
exactly who y'all were. I
Yeah.
knew exactly. I remember like some of the questions Clyde was asking, and how, Clyde, because there's not a lot of men in the room. So let's talk about that part of GovCon,
Yeah.
right? In the Washington, D.C. space is full of men, full of men, full of men. But at my summit, it was a lot of women. It's always a
Yeah.
lot of women, right? Because the
Yeah.
women is who gravitate to me. And so it wasn't that many men. And so, Clyde, you always stood out because not only were you a man in the room with all those women, but you were not afraid to ask questions.
Yeah.
And that's how you can tell when somebody is really passionate or somebody is just there just to be there. You can tell Clyde was hungry at that conference. He wanted to know. It was exciting him just as much as it was exciting me. So I remember getting that email from y'all, and I remember knowing exactly who y'all were from that conference. And from that point forward, I always talked about y'all. I'm like, listen, I had these people come from Texas and they changed their lives. Like they went and did exactly what I said, and it changed their lives. So for
Yeah.
me and Clyde, I feel you with your pain. With like you just be in the room and people just don't like you for some reason. You done got on their nerves, right? For some reason, that's me, right? But the thing is that in my life, because I have made so many sacrifices, and I do not make excuses. And so for me, there are no excuses. You cannot be one of those people that come to me and be like, oh, I couldn't get it done because my dog died. Okay, rest in peace to your dog. We love your dog, but now we still got to get to work because life goes on, right?
Yeah.
And so people, humans, tend to make excuses for themselves, and then they be mad when the results didn't come to them. Well, that's because you're not putting in the work. You got to
Yeah.
put in. I don't know where in life somebody said, if you're pretty, you'll get a contract. If you talk to Coach Brooks, you'll get a contract. If you
Come
go
on.
to DC, you'll get a contract. That's not how that works. That's not
Yeah.
how I wish it was that easy. I check off all them boxes. I wish it was that easy, but it's not that easy. You have to put in work. There
Yeah.
are no excuses.
Right.
One thing that impressed me about you that stuck with me, right? Number one, I didn't intimidate you. That's number one.
Yeah.
I didn't see you flinch. I didn't see you blow me off. That was number one. But number two, what got me, because in this world we're in right now, we have a lot of people who are on social media talking about government contractors, government.
Yes.
And I feel like
Yes.
they get one contract and they know the blueprint, and now they're trying to teach the world off of this scheme, this tactical approach that
Yep.
you can a repeatable approach. And I don't care what nobody say. Government contracting, I don't believe it's repeatable, but I believe it's something you could do over and over again. But you learn something different every time that I've done it.
Absolutely.
And so I saw the
Absolutely.
results that you got. I saw
Man.
the way you did it. You didn't do it like you was trying to bait and switch.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
It was like you was trying to feed, and in this, now I'm gonna give you more than what I gave you, and we got that from you. We give you more than what you
Yes.
paid for. The bait and switch stuff ticks me off because
Oh,
for people like us who hungry and we got them pay all this money, and I leave the room like crap. They said a whole lot, but didn't say nothing,
Right.
correct.
But
Correct.
yeah.
and I didn't get that when I came to GovCon.
No, what I loved about GovCon, it was, and then after watching you for 2 years, we saw the results. It wasn't
Mhm.
because I don't. I'm one of them. I'm loyal, so I'm one of them. I'm gonna watch you. I need to see your fruit,
Yeah.
and that's what I
Yes.
loved about watching you for those years, seeing your fruit. And then when we get there, and I start. I don't know if you remember this girl. I don't know her name. She had a trucking company, and she just won $1 million contract. Y'all did it together. She had multiple trucks.
This dark skinned
She was a
lady.
dark skinned lady.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
she had multiple trucks that
Yep.
women were running, and we're
Yep.
in this room. And then another chick,
With the water.
she had water that
She
she
cut the
Yes.
sold to a whole nother. We was like,
Country.
water. And I
Mhm.
still have pictures with these people.
Yeah.
And then we had
Mhm.
another young lady that was in real estate. Oh
Real
my
estate lady.
state. I still follow her today. She's sweet as pie. And y'all were kind of close, but she did real estate. And she had just bought land, like
Mhm.
multiple land.
Well,
And we
I remember most of the education contract. The family who had this education contract year after year after year. That was one that stuck up my head.
that was but to see the results. And that's one of the reasons why I'm like, okay, you know what? I've been hiding her for all these years.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so now I have to let the world know that there are some genuine people out here that are really,
Yes.
really trying to do business the right way. And what I
Yes.
loved about you was that you didn't cut corners. Because I'm
No.
not trying to go to jail for nobody.
Nah, not at all.
And
Absolutely. I
that's
don't
what I
look good in the world.
loved about you is that you didn't cut corners and you gave everything
Yeah.
when it came to that. And it was the results. Go ahead.
And so so as we get here, and I think now they know who you are and they know how much we love you and respect you. But let's get down to the nuts and bolts of things. So I think the premises of this conversation is number one, to let the world know that we're not doing this by ourselves.
Yeah.
We're
Mhm.
proud
Yes.
in this black culture, African American community, where pride is
Yep.
everything. Everyone want to say that I did it on my own. One thing I teach people when I meet them, I said, I want you to write down a word, and I want you to write this word down. After you write this word down, I want you to throw it away. And it's called self-made. Those two words. I want you to write them words
Mm.
down.
Oh.
And I want you to take that and throw it
Mm.
in the trash. I want you to ever use them words ever again in your life. That's something we was
Yep.
programmed and taught. That we got to be able to be self-made. I say, and now I want you to convert that word to I need a community. I need a team.
Yes.
And so can you kind of just talk about, the importance? I want you to do two things at once. And we may do this throughout the totality of this conversation. But because I want people to know we practice what we preach. So some kind
Yep.
of way throughout this conversation, I want you to kind of elaborate on how we do practice that. But number two, the
Okay.
importance. I need them to hear from someone else besides us the importance of needing a team or needing a coach. Not just needing a team, because people don't mind walking with people, but
Right.
they have a problem following people
And being
Right.
accountable.
and being accountable. So let's talk
Yeah.
about that.
Ooh, so let's talk about this in our culture, period. Okay. Because when you think about the minority community, let me just educate people. Minority is not just black people. Minority is everything except a white man. Okay.
Right,
So when you
right.
hear me talking about minority and my people, I'm talking about everybody except a white man. Okay. So let me make sure I put that out there. All right. So when you think about minorities, or even when you just think about the black community within itself, right? The black community for some during some time we were taught, right, that you should be proud of doing stuff by yourself. I did this myself, right? As if you get an award and a trophy for doing it yourself. You don't. Okay, you just made it 10 times harder for yourself. You stressed yourself out. You can only take yourself so far, and you hit this road when you're really supposed to be up here,
Yeah.
right? And so somewhere somehow we were told that doing things all by yourself make you the goat, right? And myself, I had to change that mindset. So the biggest thing when it came to business was unlearning a lot of things that I was trained or I saw and I thought it was right. And that was one of those things, right? The other thing is that the minute that I let my wall down, which was very hard for me to do, okay? And every time I let the wall down, I put it right back up. And then I hear God saying, let that wall back down. I can get you this far for you to put that wall back up because you out here not trusting everybody else and you still not trusting me as well. So every time I let the wall out down, something crazy happens and I put it back up and then God get me together real quick. So I've had to learn over the last few years that I must rely on other people. That is the hardest thing to do in life, is to trust people, rely on people, um, um, open up to people, and be vulnerable to people all at the same time, because we have always taught to be strong, right? Weakness, especially for a man, you know, being, vulnerable is a sign of weakness for men. And that's not true. That's all based off of who you surround yourself with, right? If your group tell you you can't cry, well, you're never going to cry in front of them because they've already told you that you can't cry. But if you get around people, especially me when it comes to business, that is very transparent with you and say, hey, this is not going to be easy. You're not gonna be able to do this by yourself. You're battling your own self right now. Okay, you at war with yourself. It's you versus you, and I promise you, you still not gonna win. When you get around people that says it's okay to follow, to listen, to change, to let your wall down, to not have all the answers, life become a little bit easier for you. You got some weight lifted off your shoulder because you've had to be so strong. And in business, you can't be the strongest. If you're the smartest in the room, I hate to tell you, but you're not that smart. If you're the smartest in the room, I hate to be the one to tell you that you're really not as smart as you think you are. So you got to
Not just
constantly
that.
keep challenging yourself. What'd you
And
say,
I'm gonna say
Clyde?
not just that. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're also not moving much further than where you are.
That is
Yeah.
correct. That is correct. That is correct. Because we only know so much. Nobody ever told us that we have to know it all. And that's why, and I will be very transparent about this, I have not only a coach, but I have a mentor and I have two therapists. I have a
That's
marriage
good.
counselor therapist and I have my individual therapist. That's the only way that I can keep going every day.
That's
That's
it.
the only day that's the only way I can keep going. Because
That's it.
I have to lean on them for the support and for my therapist allowed me to vent. Because let me tell y'all, as a CEO, being at the top of a company, oh, that's a hard place to be. And everybody want to be the CEO. Sometimes it's easier to be an employee than it is to be the boss.
Sometimes, not all the time. Wow. So what has it been like working, kind of like working with the Hardens? Because I want people, I keep using talking about the third person, but like, you've been working with us. I think we started off with the trip down to DC. After we went to DC,
Yep.
I think after that we got on one call, And I'll be transparent. That one call we got, I don't know if you remember last year. It was I was trying to say, you know what, I'm going to do this government contracting, and there was one year I was doing groups and everybody was getting contracts together. I got so
Mm-hmm.
overwhelmed, I ran away.
Yes.
You know, I just went into a
Yep.
rock and said, you know what, it's just too much too fast. I'm not learning, a lot is happening, and, you know, and I think that I was scared. You know, I ain't gonna lie, I was
Yeah.
scared. So we tried it then, and then I backed out. And then my wife said, "Hold up, you know, don't give up." And then we had one on one, and one on one actually worked out better because it was paced
Yes.
different. And then we shifted over
Yes.
to what we have now. So kind of like, you
Yes.
know, talk about that right quick on how it's been, you know, those transitions, and kind of just however you want to put in your own words and thoughts.
So I want y'all to pay attention to something because people don't understand this. Y'all flew to DC, right? Which means y'all had to make a real investment because it wasn't one of y'all, it's two of y'all. So that means that's two VIP tickets. That is two plane tickets. That's only one hotel room, thank God. But everything doubles for y'all, right? Which is a
Right.
major investment. So you come to DC and this is your first time being exposed with it. And a lot of people do not understand this. Government contracting is hard. Even I think I'm 13 years in, even 13 years later, it's even harder now because every 48 years you get a new administration, rules change, regulations change, priorities change, and you got to keep up, aka start over every time the administration changes. So government contracting as a whole is very hard. So you guys come to DC, you learn about government contracting, and y'all didn't run away, but you also didn't move at the pace I would have wanted you to move, right? Okay, fine, that's fine. Then you take a few more group classes, and you're like, this is still not easy, right? Because I want y'all to think about something. You come in and you see all these wins, and you're like, oh, this is easy until you try to do it yourself. And when you do it yourself, ain't nothing working the way that all the rest of the people out here is telling you, oh, all you got to do. I hate when people tell me, all you got to
All
do.
you got to do.
All you got to
Listen here,
do.
Joker.
Yeah.
All you got, that ain't all you got to do. Okay.
Right.
So then you come in and you do this group training and you're like, oh, that ain't, I don't think I'm ready for that either. And then you still didn't give up. Then you went to the one on one. And let me tell y'all something, one on one is my favorite, but it's also the hardest because now you really don't have an excuse. Now it's all about me and you. And here's when I can take back some of them layers and figure out, just like in therapy, what's the real problem? Why can't you get the contracts? What is stopping you? And
Right.
most of the time, it's the mindset. Well, I didn't think I could do this. I didn't think, my company was ready for this. No, if your company's not ready, then let's position it to get ready.
Right.
And that just means we got a lot of work to do. But I want y'all to pay attention that this was not a get rich quick scheme. It was not a one time thing y'all did with me that gave y'all the results. It was years of progress that
That
got
part.
you to where you are today. And so you get people that come in this industry and they like, well, I want to be like the Hardens. Help me get my prime contract. Well, hold on, player. Do you know what the Hardens had to go through before they got here? Hold on. Wait a minute.
Right.
Don't come in the door talking about you want to be like somebody else. Come in the door and say, hey, how can you help me become successful? Or how can you help me get to that next level? Now, working with the Hardens ain't easy. Y'all know asking me to come on here, I'm gonna be truthful. One,
Love it.
I'm not working with one personality, I'm working with two.
Right.
And let me tell y'all something. Anybody that come to me and say, hey, can you work with me and my business partner? Or can you work with me and my husband or me and my wife? It is always hard
Yeah.
because it takes me double the amount of time to pull it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because people don't agree. People don't agree. One person got this priority, the other person got this priority, and now they pulling me to decide which route or which direction we should go in.
Yeah.
Now, the
Yeah.
thing I can respect about the hardest is that one, you did not give up. Because there's plenty of times you should have quit. And the
Right.
thing about y'all came in at a comfortable level. That's the most difficult people to deal with. People that are comfortable. Because in your mind, you're like, well, I don't really have to do the stuff she's telling me to do because we already making money. You came
Yeah.
in at a comfortable level. But the goal was to challenge you to get to the next step that you've been fighting, which the hardest were doing. They were fighting becoming a prime. We did that in less than 45 days.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, we did it on our second try. We
Yeah,
would
we
have got
did.
it on our first try had we not, talked ourselves out of it.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right.
Because
Yeah.
again, we battling you versus you.
Yeah.
And so through your sessions, it has not only become business development, but it has become personal development as well, which is the
Yeah.
most beautiful thing. Because as CEOs, you have to develop as a person before you can even develop a business. And sometimes we try to skip the important steps when in the end, you always got to go back to the bare root,
Yeah.
even when you fight and get in there.
You're right. You're right. You're right. That's good. Any question you got before I go to the next
Mm-mm, go
question?
ahead.
So another question I got is because I think you know I
Can
have
she see
frustration.
you?
Yeah, she could. You can
Oh,
see me, right, Coach?
No, I can only see
no, that's
Tanya.
why I was saying
Oh,
switch over so she
okay.
can see you.
So yeah.
But go ahead.
But the key thing is I'm noticing I get frustrated because I'm trying to help out a lot of people as we evolve and as we grow and as we develop. What we want to do, we want to save the world. We want to bring the world with us, and
Yep.
it's hurting my heart because whenever I started as an entrepreneur coach, when I thought about being an entrepreneur, I've been working for GE Healthcare, and I keep saying GE Healthcare. Hope you don't have a problem me saying your name, GE. But when I worked for GE Healthcare for 20 years, what stopped me from being an entrepreneur was Uncle Joe. I'm not talking about Uncle Joe, but like just the representation of Uncle Joe or Uncle Bob or Uncle Sam, and this
Yep.
person who works all day, then get off of work and gets on a lawnmower and cut grass that day, and then
Yep.
come home and late at night, and then during the weekend he's cutting grass all weekend, and that to me was a representation, or a barber who cut 100 heads, throughout the weekend, and he has a little bit of freedom, but it's like he's working hard, but he's working harder than me, and
Yep.
entrepreneurship wasn't sexy, and then when we started off becoming entrepreneurs, we went from hey, we're gonna start a business to hey, we got put into this class called Bid Academy on how to bid government contracts to hey, this company comes right out the bat and say, the city comes right out the bat and say, we need a contractor. Can you be our contractor? And we didn't realize we was in
Mm-hmm.
government contracting then. And we went immediately into multiplication, went immediately into hiring people.
Yep.
And then we went right over that uncle or that guy. What can you talk to me and actually help me understand why more people don't shift? Why more people, what is it's heartbreaking. How do you deal with that thought process and not being able to help everybody? That's what I'm gonna deal with.
Okay, so the not being able to help everybody is
I
hard,
need to see on
especially
there.
when you are a Christian, right? Because again, battling me versus me, I am telling myself that if I am successful, everybody around me should be successful as well, right?
Yeah.
That is something the minority community, nope, not just minority, the Black community does, right? Because you got people in your family that's like, oh, Tanya made it, but she ain't take nobody with her. So
Yeah.
automatically you like, okay, I made it. Now I got to take everybody with me. But that's not necessarily true because a lot of times we spend a lot of time trying to force somebody else into success when in the end we want that success for them more than they want it for themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that is draining. That is very, very, very draining. You got to want it just as much as I want it for you. You got to want
You
it for
gotta want
yourself.
yourself. Yeah.
And
Right.
what tends to happen is we are so busy because our pride and our reputation it means a lot to us,
Yeah.
especially in the Black community. So you don't want nobody out there saying, "Oh yeah, I don't deal with Tanya no more because Tanya made it and she ain't taking nobody else with her." You don't want nobody saying that. So
Right.
out the gate, before you even know anything about success, you trying to take everybody with you.
Yeah.
But I want y'all to imagine climbing a ladder, and every time you take a step up, you don't put a brick on your shoulder. What's going to end up happening is it's going to take you a long time to climb that ladder. And
Yeah.
eventually the weight is going to get so heavy that you just going to fall.
Right.
You just going to fall. So yes, we have some form of and again, my therapist would say this come from our childhood, right? There's something that happened in our childhood that have us thinking we have to take people with us every time we're trying to go a level up, right? Nobody
Right.
told you that. You just mentally think that. There's no written rule that says, Clyde, if you want to be successful, you got to take everybody in your neighborhood with you. That's the only way you're going to be. There's no written rule. You made that up for yourself. What
Yeah.
I've learned as a leader is that when my cup is half empty, it's hard to fill that joker back up. It's hard to help everybody else when I'm barely sipping myself. I'm dehydrated over here now. What I've learned is that I have to be at the best state mentally and physically in order for me to truly be able to help other people. And sometimes that means I got to do some things by myself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
What I've also learned is that I'm still learning. And in the
Right.
midst of me learning, then I can't teach you something that I'm trying to still figure out myself. However, once I start realizing this works, it is a good strategy. I don't mind sharing, but I'm no longer going to make it my responsibility for you to actually succeed and win. Because again, you got to want it just as much as I want it for you. People will show you. Because at the end of the day, you got people that say, cuz if you just tell me what to do, I'll do it. And guess what? When I tell them what to do, they still don't do it. Oh, because they didn't realize I have to get up 5 o'clock in the morning and I got to go to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning in order for me to get the results that I'm getting. Because they're not willing to make those sacrifices because they just want to hand it to them. Well, even if I just hand it to them, they ain't gonna keep it because you, even when it's handed to you, you still got to do work in order to keep it. So now, if you really want it, you will show me that you want it. And when I give it to you, you're gonna be successful with or without me. Because
Yeah.
my days of fishing for people are over. I can teach you how to fish and you'll eat for the rest of your life. But if you rely on me to fish, when I get mad at you, and you better believe I still get mad at people, you're gonna starve for the rest of your life. Don't give me that much power. Don't give
Yeah.
me that much power.
I love
You
it.
gotta want it as much as I want it for you. Because part of the problem is society has said it's supposed to be handed to you. Well, I can promise y'all ain't nothing been handed to me yet. Ain't I wish somebody would hand something to me.
Come on.
You're right. You're right. You're right.
That part.
You got a question?
That part. I would say this too. On this journey, I think really what we found out with our coaching with you, and it's one word that she always says, you don't know what you don't know, right?
Yes.
As business owners. And I know for us on this journey, it has been, we've been rocking out with you now one on one since what?
October, I think.
October
October.
of last year, right? And we've,
Dang, it's been a year.
it's going to be a year. Yeah.
Yeah.
October of last year. But here's the thing though, there is so much we've done from October until now that
Yep.
it's not just the fact of us learning from you, but I would also add the resources that our company has seen that's
Yes.
been able to partner. And I think that part is
It's been
important.
huge, man. It's been so huge. Just resource after resource after resource. I mean, just exposure, experience. Different things we learned. But I guess I got a question because when I watch you and I think about you, I have a question. Do you get tired? Because the reason I say because I saw my wife took me a video yesterday. You running around at your events, your event hall, and things you was
Mhm.
doing. And when you're on a call with us, you can't tell you running your business.
Oh, that's good.
So
Mm.
how do you? Because like I say, I ain't gonna lie, it's exhausting to me because
Yeah.
I give 2 weekends. We don't do individual coaching. We need to eventually start individual coaching. We do 1 weekend a month,
Yeah.
2 weekends a month. How do you do that?
Oh, so it's so crazy. We just last week was probably the hardest week in business of my life. And I said that out loud because one of the things about development is you cannot be afraid to say how you really feel, right? And so last week was probably the hardest. We had large corporation Kalahari on Monday and Tuesday. We had government contract to execute Tuesday and Wednesday. I had a wedding I had to execute Wednesday and Thursday. The wedding was actually Friday. I had a break on Saturday, but then I had a fashion show on Sunday. So literally a week straight was
Wait,
grinding
don't forget
the
we was with
hardest.
you on Sunday. I mean
And
Saturday
and that
morning.
Saturday, I had
Yeah.
a 2 hour coaching call on Saturday. So it was only supposed to be an hour, but when you're dealing with the hardest, you'll never know what you're gonna get. Okay, so I
You
have
ain't
to be
lying.
prepared for 2 hours. Okay,
See, the
and so
first
that
hour
was a
was
full
business
week.
coach. The first hour was business coach. Second hour was business
Look,
therapist.
she turned from a business coach to
Yes,
a counselor.
yes, and I'm not
Yeah.
supposed to take that off the record, right?
Right.
but seriously, I picked up. So let me tell y'all something y'all don't know, and this is real, raw, and transparent. On Saturday, now remember, I just told y'all what my week looked like. When my son got out of school on Friday, I had promised to take him to the zoo. Right? I had promised to take him to the zoo. No, I'm sorry. On Thursday, I promised to take my son to the zoo. And when he got out of school the next day, taking him to school, he said, "Mom, you told me you were going to take me to the zoo." I said, "Oh my God, baby. Okay, if you do good in school today, I'm going to take you to the zoo when you get out of school, right? But let me tell you something. The zoo is an hour away from me. Remember, I told y'all I had a wedding on Friday. The wedding started
Yeah.
at 10 a.m. It didn't end until they didn't leave my building. They were supposed to leave at 6. They didn't leave until 8. My team was not done until 10:30 that night. So I had told myself, okay, you don't know how the day is gonna go. You promised to take your son to the zoo 2 days in a row. You're gonna have to leave this wedding, take your son to the zoo, and come back. So my son get out of school. I said, okay, I'm gonna take you to the zoo. Instead of taking that baby to the zoo, I took him to PetSmart because he wanted to see a mouse. Well, I knew he wasn't gonna see no mouse at the zoo, which was an hour away, which would have been a 2-hour drive. So I said, he don't know no better. He's 4 years old. I'm gonna take him to PetSmart. So
He gonna
literally,
get you when he get
y'all,
older.
this boy going to PetSmart and he on a mission. He see snakes, he see birds, he see rabbits, he see rats, he see mouses, he see fish, he seen everything that was on his list. And I took him back home to my husband and I went back to the wedding. Well, when I went to pick him up, my husband pulled up the same time I pulled up, which is not normal, y'all, right? Because I know when he get off of work. So he done got off of work an hour early. He walks to my car. I rolled the window down and he said, you sure you want to take him to PetSmart? You look tired. That's the first time in 13 years that man has ever looked me in my face and saw that I was tired. And
Wow.
that kind of broke me, right? Because I'm this strong soldier. Even when I'm tired, I at least don't want to look like I'm tired, right?
Yeah,
And for
yeah.
me
Yeah.
not to say nothing out my mouth. But this man, see, one, he was concerned about the baby. He like, you sure you want to drive the baby? That's all he was thinking about was bump me, y'all. He like, you sure you want to? Like, I ain't comfortable with you taking the baby because you look tired. And
Yeah.
that kind of hurt me because I'm like, man, I can't look tired. If I look tired to him, who else looking at me and like, she looks tired, right?
Yeah.
But I pushed through. But then I told myself, I said, okay, you got 13 days into an event. You're going to take these 13 days and you're going to get you some rest. And literally, y'all,
Yeah.
I slept 11 hours on Sunday. I slept 9 hours on Saturday. And my body was so tired, I didn't even realize I was that tired. So the question is, do I get tired? Absolutely. For the first time, I actually looked tired. And it was my husband that said, you look tired.
Wow.
Wow.
And so now I have to reset as a business owner because I know sometimes, because there's always seasons, y'all. You're going to have to grind during certain seasons. And this is my grinding season. But I
Yes, sir.
never want to get to the point where I look tired that my husband is questioning, should I take the baby? Because he afraid for our safety. And so
Yeah.
now I got to be careful what I say yes to and how I plan some of this stuff out. And as y'all know, government contracting, we don't have control.
No.
We don't
Right.
have control. So when they
Right.
threw that event on us, when we won that contract, it was in the slap middle of a wedding, of a corporate client, and all this other crap we had going on. We couldn't tell them no. So we
Yeah.
just did it. But I have to make sure as the CEO, I am also prioritizing my well-being and my rest and
Yeah.
Yeah.
allowing my team to do what my team got to do because I do actually have a real team. I do.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to overwork them, so I took it. But then
Gotcha.
I'm questioning, shoot, I should have just brought in some more people because I didn't realize you can see on my face that I was tired.
It's tired. Wow.
So many more questions I got. I want to make sure that I'm
Go
so
ahead.
many more questions I got because I want to make sure I kind of paint a picture here. I really want to go in the direction of deeper about your infrastructure. But before I go more deep into infrastructure, I want to ask you this question: when you're dealing with entrepreneurs and right now, what suggestions do you have? Because you got so many entrepreneurs out there who not getting into government contracting. So why, if you had the opportunity to tell them, something that you always wanted to tell them, what would you say to entrepreneurs out there that's trending, that's doing, trying to do better? They're not meeting their own financial budget for themselves. What
Yeah.
would you say to them and why? Oh, I can tell you what. Let's just focus this way. Why do you try to get so many people into government contracting? Because that's something I've seen that you do. Why do you do that? I think that may answer the question I was getting at.
So this is a good question. And you know what? I haven't done a podcast in over a year. So I'm so glad you're asking me this question because y'all gonna be shocked by my answer. If this was 6 years ago, I would say government contracting is the way to go. But in 2026, almost going into 2027, government contracting is not going to be for everybody. So, what I've learned over the last 2 years, especially with our current administration, things are changing and they're going to change. So, what people don't realize is with social media and AI, I've been teaching my mentees this thing called AI recession-proof. Because what's happening now is that AI and social media is changing a lot of things that look normal to us prior to COVID. And now that AI is uncontrollable and social media information spreads like wildfire, certain things are not going to be accessible for everybody. Right. And so right now, a lot of people are pushing people into government contracting. And I'm pushing people to prepare themselves for what this next wave going to look like, because AI and social media is changing the game. And so I'm not telling people that everybody should go into government contracting, because government contracting has changed. And now it can't be your only bread and butter because too many people are doing it, right? Not that it's saturated, it's just that things are not designated for everybody to do. And when the government sees everybody is doing it, they're going to come in and they're going to change the game, which is what they're doing with government contracting. The landscape of government contracting is going to completely change by 2032. They've already told us. They told us this last year. So if you're not prepared for this change by 2032, you're going to be back at the bottom of the pole again. So now I'm not telling my people government contracting is the answer, because 6 years ago it was the answer. No, now it's not actually the answer. It's only the answer depending on if it's a job that AI can't take. Because the direction that we're going in, your industry have to be AI recession proof. Like it has to be, because a year or two from now, it's going to be gone. It's going to be a robot doing your job. I had to call Apple, because every year I got so much crap on my computer, I got to call Apple to clean it out so it can be running the way it's supposed to be running. And no lie, I have everybody joking when I tell this story. This was this handsome. Now, I know this man handsome by the voice, by his voice. There was this handsome black man on the other end of that phone. Let me take that back. A handsome black robot on the other end of that phone talking to me like he bare white, making me feel all good about cleaning up my computer. And the entire time it was a robot.
Wow.
And let me tell y'all something. I used to love getting the Apple representative that would remote into my computer. They do all the work for me. But I got this robot was just as smooth as the human that used to remote into me and fix my issue in 10 minutes, in less than 10 minutes.
Wow.
I tell you what, these AI tools are getting awesome, because I'm the type of person, I would try to get around them. I don't want to talk to the computer.
Oh, me too. Yeah. Human, please. Human, please. No.
The other day I got caught, and I actually talked to one, and I said, and it transferred me. And then I called back, and it says, I said, hello, they said, hello, welcome back. Do you want to go back to the service department again? I'm like, whoa. And it literally, just because it recognized my call, immediately got me where I need to go faster, quicker.
That's crazy.
I'm like, well, this here is game changing, but I mean, cut you off, but so.
Yeah. But it scared me a little bit, but it also woke me up, because it's like there are people like me that's been fighting AI. I hate it. I hate technology, right? But then I got technology that changed it. You sounded like me. You were smooth. You actually helped me, and you did it in the shortest time I've ever been helped in my life. And I'm not a tech person. It was like, hey, I'm gonna walk you through these 5 steps. I guarantee you by these 5 steps, you're gonna be fixed. I'm thinking, how? How you know within these 5 steps, we got to step 3, and I was done. Done.
Wow.
Did not have to remote into my computer, which means now you're making me more efficient, because it told me exactly, all right, are you done with that? I'm gonna give you 2 more minutes to get that done. It doesn't take that long. Well, how you done, Joker? You rushing me. But it was so smooth, and it sounded like me.
Wow.
So it's dangerous, because it was that easy for me to say, you know what? AI is not that bad. But then I thought about all the jobs it just wiped away, because for the last at least 10 years that I've had Apple products, I've always had a human walk me through, remote in my computer. But here's the other part that people don't want to talk about. Humans have gotten lazy.
Yeah.
You get a human now, and they at home, and they doing everything else except helping you. Let me put you on hold for a brief second. You just asked me my name, and you got to put me on hold for 10 minutes? No, I ain't got 10 minutes to spare. I'm a CEO.
Yeah.
So when a robot can help me in less than 10 minutes and clean out my whole system and never even put me on hold, never had to remote into my computer, and made me become smarter, oh, that's dangerous. That's dangerous. So my goal now is not to help people get into government contracting, because I know some of those roles that were so easy for us to do in the government contracting space is about to be gone. My goal is to help you think and decide what this next chapter is going to look like, so we can tap into some of these resources and opportunities while they're available now to help you change your life. Because I always teach people, once you learn how to make money, now I got to teach you how to multiply it. And let me tell y'all something. I don't do stocks. I don't do none of that. Okay. I am a real strategist. What's trending? Where's the polls taking us? Where's the money going? Because I love to follow the money. Once I know where the money is going, that's how I know how we going to touch it. And again, people will tell you all the time, I don't try to get the whole pie. I just want to help my people get a piece of the pie so they can feed their families.
That's it.
Yep,
That's it.
that's it.
So with that being the case, then what would be the top 5 businesses you would recommend people to start, and that you think would be AI recession proof?
That's good.
Well, I can't say right now. I'm gonna tell you why though, because I'm still studying it.
Okay.
Right? So what I'm looking at now, what I can tell you is that automatically when I look at my event center, it's a lot of work to put on an event. It's all these pieces, right? And at the end of the day, it takes a human to set up, to break down. Now anybody can design it, right? But the physical work of cooking food, set up, breakdown, that's AI recession proof. A robot, unless it's the physical robot, it can't do that, right? So what I'm looking at is those industries that requires a actual human. So I did see in the construction world, it was the first time I seen this, it blew me away. You remember how when you're working on the road, there used to be a person that said stop, go, because it's one lane now. Well, now they got robots doing it. Wow. That kind of shocked me because I'm like, all right, mess around and have an accident if you want. I'm suing the whole town. Because ain't nobody tell y'all to have a robot to tell us when to stop and go and all of that. Yeah. So I'm studying the things that require a human and the things that do not require a human. And I'm going to be honest with y'all. A lot of things that started on my AI recession proof list is taken off. Yeah. Because they have figured out a way to let a robot do it. So I'm going to be studying for the rest of this year. Trying to pinpoint, like I have a client right now who she used to work for the state. She used to work for child support. They don't wipe their whole department out because they're letting the robots doing it. Now they end up having to bring 2 people back because it was a piece of that needed a human. Yeah. So when they wiped out the whole agency, they end up having to bring 2 people back. See, it's those little pieces of figuring out, okay, they think they could get away with a robot doing the whole thing, but as a human that got to touch X, Y, and Z. Now I can tell my people, hey, if you work for the state, make sure you in one of these 2 roles. Because even if they try to wipe you out, they're going to need somebody to click that button for these 2 roles.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Another question, but you
no, go ahead.
So I feel like another question I got then for you then, and we got to cut this short pretty soon. It's probably going to be part 2. But so what advice would you give an entrepreneur now that either, no matter what phase they're in, whether they're in startup, whether they're in scaling, whether they're in sustaining, what advice would you give entrepreneurs now? Because I think right now, a lot of entrepreneurs are just running, going, and they're not literally thinking about what you're talking about right now.
Yeah. So 2 things I like to tell small business owners and entrepreneurs. The first thing is you must find a corporation to mimic. A lot of entrepreneurs do not realize that we should be mimicking the big boys. The reason being is because you vow to be them one day. Well, the only way that you can become them is if you study them. A lot of people do not realize the answers are already out there. You just haven't taken the time to study. Social media makes entrepreneurship look so easy. I promise you it's not. It's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. I work 10 times harder as an entrepreneur than I did as a 9-to-5er. The other thing that I think entrepreneurs need to realize is that you are going to need income. The money and the capital is not accessible to everybody. Therefore, if you can work a 9-to-5 while running your business, do it. Don't let nobody tell you you are a failure because you work a 9-to-5 and you trying to run your business. You need that solid income to be able to survive entrepreneurship.
Right.
So I cheer people on. Go to work. You're going to need the income, baby, because once the entrepreneur bills come, they never stop.
At all.
I think it's good.
I would say this because I know your time is valuable. So I would say this. I know how we worked with you, right? But how can someone else, I don't know if you're taking on other clients, but I'm pretty sure you are.
She can do it. I don't think she can have the energy.
Yeah. So, how does anyone work with you? Because you have a lot of programs that you have, and I know different communities. We're a part of those communities, some of those communities. What is a place for someone to even try to come and work with you, or what is it that you do for them to work with you? How does
So
that look?
one, I do not take on every client.
Okay.
Funny story, Clyde and Tonya thought they were gonna get fired, right? So they come in the session, tell me, can we get some more time with you,
Yes.
right? Because they thought their time was over,
Sure did.
right?
Sure did.
I'm very picky about my clients, so I do not say yes to everyone. The other thing about this is that there's seasons of working with me. Right now, I am in my use it or lose it season. I'm not taking on any new clients. My goal is to make sure my current high profile clients and my mentees are getting enough of me so that we can end this year with a bang, right? And so there are times I do not take clients, like in this current season right now, I'm not taking on any clients. My goal is to make sure we end the year strong with the people I'm currently working with. I do for my birthday in June and Black Friday in November, I put out these crazy specials. The November doesn't start until January because that gives me enough time to close out the year with my people the way I wanted to close it out. It always starts with my assistant. You have to go to admin@latashabrooks.com, email her. Her name is Tammy, and Tammy will tell you different ways you can work with me, but she will also tell you when you can start back working with me. I get a lot of people that I train because in the month of December, every Wednesday, I train for free. Every Wednesday in the month of December, I train for free. So I get a lot of people that I train in December, and then they'll come in this season and be like, okay, I'm ready now. Well, you got to wait because I'm not in a season of taking calls. I'm not training. I'm not teaching. I am solely focusing on my current clients and myself. Because the thing about it is, I'm a real contractor. So if I put all my time and energy into everybody else, I don't get to hit my goals. I'm one contract away from hitting my 2026 goals. I am
Come
hoping by mid
on.
September, I'm done. I ain't got to bid on another contract for myself. And
Come
so
on.
that's why it's a season for me. I got to work just as hard as myself that I work for everybody else. And so right now, unfortunately, I'm not taking on any clients, but they can always email Tammy. She'll tell them how they can work with me. Like I have a $47 mentoring program that's group mentoring. And then I have my one-on-one Zooms and in person. And then I have my done for you where I go out and find the contracts, write the contracts, submit the contracts for the client. So I have all these different ways you can work with me. Unfortunately, I'm just not taking on anybody right now until I get my people taken care of.
Listen, y'all better get a part of her email. That's how we called her. You better get be a part of her email. So figure out how you can become a part. Because soon as it dropped in that email, I sent it to Clyde. I was like, hey, she's taking clients now. Hurry up.
Right.
We're not going to wait. Let's do this. And baby, it was because of the email. And you didn't even put it on social media. It was
Yep.
only to your email blog, your email
Yep.
people. And so that's how we were able to come on because you had a special during that month. And I think that's important for that person that's out there and you always want to be a part of someone's email marketing so that you can
Yep.
get the first dib. So that's what I am grateful for.
Yeah. Okay.
I would say this too, Coach. One last thing. I know how they can work with you, but my question to you, and maybe you may not want to answer this or you do. When is the next GovCon, sugar? When I'm like, what?
So it's so funny. I was talking to one of my other high profile clients, Shia. Shout out to Shia. And she helped me on the phone, y'all. She would not let me get off the phone until I gave her GovCon dates. Okay. And so she was like, I'm not, we need to set the dates right now. So the next GovCon is in April of
Okay.
2027. The tickets will
Ooh.
go on sale September because GovCon normally sells out. The way that we do GovCon now is a boot camp. It is not a room full of people. It is a classroom of people
Okay.
because we do hands-on training right then in the boot camp. So we did select the dates. I think they were, let me just make sure. Hold on. Because Tammy's still working on her part of it, but I think it was the 16th, 17th, 18th weekend. I just have to go back and double check. But it is in April this year. We moved it from February back to April. And you will see, I think September the 1st, you will see the post go out that GovCon tickets are available. That's going to
I
be
got
Awesome.
a stupid
tough.
question.
I love
I got
it.
a stupid
That's going to
question.
be tough.
Look, we've been
What you
waiting
got?
on it. I was like, okay, are you doing it October? Are you doing when we doing the GovCon? Let's go. Yeah, I love it.
The question I got is that so do after we work with you all year, do you recommend we come or are we gonna get in the way?
Nope, you can still come because the thing about GovCon, you're going to constantly be changing. And so that's the problem with this industry and why it's so hard for people to keep up. I have contractors that's been contracted for 30 years, y'all, and I'm their coach now. Because being a fresh contractor, I know how to change. When the government says this is top priority, I'm like, all right, let's move on to this. But they're so stuck in their ways. And that's a lot of entrepreneurs. We are so stuck in our ways that we're like, okay, this is working. I'm going to stick with this. But in the GovCon space, that doesn't work. You have to be willing to change with the economy, with the presidents, with the administration. You got to be willing to change with whatever they say top priority is, because that's where the money is going. And a lot of people do not know how to adapt with those changes. Every year a new bill come out. A lot of people don't know how to read those bills. They don't know how to follow those bills. They don't know how to make those bills align with what they're currently doing. And that's what we do in boot camp. I say, hey, go through this packet, read what's going on. Now let's tie this to you. Let's send out these emails. Let's come up with the game plan. Here's your map for the next 6 months. That's what every contractor needs. And unfortunately, contractors are too busy chasing it that they don't take some time to develop the plan and then chase it.
Yeah. And I think we would be ready because our first one, you gave that packet. I'll never forget it. I was like, what are we supposed to do with this? But I
Yeah.
believe going to this GovCon, we'll know what we're doing and how we're doing it.
I'll just be quiet this time. I ain't gonna
No, you're not. He don't know how to be quiet. He not going
He
to do
is
it,
not
coach.
gonna be quiet. He got a little bit more knowledge now too. He definitely ain't gonna be quiet.
Nope.
We'll see.
And see, let me tell y'all what's so different about y'all being in the room is because so far I only got 2 of y'all in construction. Construction is where the money is at. I don't know why.
Wow.
I had one girl start the construction business, but she ain't touch it. Y'all are so much more powerful than you think, because again, y'all see how lucrative construction can be.
Yes.
I can't wait to get off this call because I got some contracts I got to go run.
Right.
Yeah.
But I definitely want to value your time. We wanted to set aside an hour, and we did a little startup time trying to get everything together. This has been a great. Thank you for doing this for us. We're going to have to make sure we get Coach a really nice Christmas gift.
Yeah, we're going to get you nice.
But we want you to know we appreciate
Okay, I'm building it up too. I'm building
Yeah.
it up, so I'm
Yes.
excited.
We
You got a couple of gifts.
We need your favorite list. You need your fave 5, your top 5 things that you like.
Okay.
Yeah.
We don't waste our time, but we definitely want to. That's something. Another podcast we need to talk about how we actually do so into people. We don't just say that Christmas is the time that our business really kind of pay it backwards instead of just paying it forward.
Yeah.
But no, we want to say thank you. Last words that you can share with just anybody that's listening right now, to kind of just set the stage for the next day, the next move, or whatever you want to share. This is your moment.
So I would just tell people that life is hard right now, and life is hard for everybody. There's not a single person that I'm dealing with, including myself, that we're just not getting hit with these challenges. But I know a lot of times people tell you, money don't buy happiness. Money makes life a little bit more easier. Okay. And it is because of these opportunities, and it's because of the work that I put in, and my husband put in to make life a little bit easier for us during these challenging times. Gas prices are out of control, food is out of control, but my family has not lacked. And I'm thankful of that, and that is the reason why I get up every day, grind time, make it happen, making these sacrifices and doing what we have to do to change not only our lives, but our children's lives as well. So if you got some type of superpower, some type of skill that you are very good at, do not sleep on that skill, because it's needed, it's wanted. You just got to strategize and think about where it's needed at the most and go out and get a piece of the pie. Because life is beating us up. It's beating us up, but we all bring something to the table, and you just got to get to that table. You got to get. Some people go to work every day for somebody else. Okay, I don't knock the going to work for somebody else, but make sure you also putting in some work for yourself too, because at the end of the day, everything can come and go, but the things that I've built, it's mine.
Yeah.
It's mine. It belongs to me.
Yeah, that part.
Thank you.
We thank you so much again, Coach, for rocking out with us, doing this with us. And I pray that somebody's life is changed. But most of all, I really pray that someone connects with you when you are available, because it has been life-changing for us. And we're excited. Like you always say, what's the word she say? That we just getting started. What is it?
Yeah.
Oh, y'all
we
just getting started.
She make us nervous every time she says that, because it's like, wait. But we're just getting started, and I just know the sky is the limit with you. And we just did a podcast about Tonya. We're going to have to send it to you, talking about your sister, Tonya, our lawyer. And we did a podcast about her and how she has been changing the trajectory of our business just by having her on a team. And so I'm excited about you being on our team, and we want you to keep us a little bit longer. Don't be trying to get rid of us. Look, don't be trying to get rid of us. But we just know the best is yet to come.
It is. It is. Thank you
That's
again,
right.
and all our watchers. Listen, just kind of hang in there. We got another one coming. Young lady who we did, a nonprofit with. She really just transformed the whole nonprofit many years ago. We bumped into her at a networking event the other day, and we can't wait to bring on. And Coach, we got to share with you as well. Just the experience that she's given us. But we thank you, Coach. Even though we are, business interaction right now, you like a little sister to us. Welcome to the family.
No.
Yes.
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 Other than that, God bless you. God keep you. And we like to say in the lines then, happy hunting.
Let's eat.